All right, I'm with Isabel for the NQ80 Daily. We're going to talk about Dan Ashworth and what an idiot he is. First, Isabel, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks. Yeah, it is getting towards the end of the week. So
Yeah,
I did have to check what day it was. I was pretty sure it was Thursday. All right.
we're nearly there.
Yeah, nearly there. Dan Ashworth.
Mm-hmm.
So if people haven't seen the story, I mean, it's obviously been leaked by Newcastle as a way of creating pressure during the negotiations over his exit fee. But basically what he did, it seems, is he was talking to Omar Barada before he'd officially it had sort of come out that he was wanting to join United, and he'd accidentally blind copied his Newcastle email into the communications, which demonstrates that he was talking about taking a role with United before he'd officially asked his employers whether that was all right or not. And he's on a fixed term contract, so he needs permission. It's remarkably dumb of him.
I don't understand how he's accidentally copied in Newcastle in the first place. I think that is so silly. Surely you'd check the email before you send it, no?
You'd think so. Yeah, you'd think so. I don't know why did he do that? But of course, that email address is the property of Newcastle United, and they're well within their rights to monitor it. I mean, it's a bit dodgy that they are monitoring it, but it's very silly of him. Yeah. And so obviously the stories came out in the kind of Newcastle favourite outlets. So in the Mail with their local North East reporter, and then in Telegraph with Luke Edwards, who are both let's say favourable to the regime at Newcastle. And it's kind of been framed as potentially tapping up, which I don't actually think it is, but it might be inducing a breach of contract, which I suppose if Newcastle really wanted to get litigious, they could do. It won't be that. It's just going to be about pressure, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just more drama about Manchester United, and I'm fed up with it. I think this season especially, it's just like another thing to add onto the pile. But yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I think it is clever from Newcastle to bring it up now, probably. Have they done it this way on purpose? Possibly, I don't know. But no, I think the whole thing is just it's silly, isn't it? Whether they should be talking about it anyway, I don't know. But yeah, doing it under Newcastle's watch as well is not clever.
Yeah, I mean the how dumb it was of Ashworth to do this did make me laugh. And I mean, I don't know. He's a competent operator, isn't he, generally? But man, maybe he's not strong on IT. I don't know. I don't know how you manage to blind copy in your employer. But Newcastle, I think they are just negotiating over a fee. It's going to happen. Newcastle seem kind of paranoid about United taking all of Ashworth's secrets and transfer targets or something like that. They won't seem to want to delay it till after the summer. I think this would demonstrate that he has no problem talking to his future employers anyway. So like what they might as well just like compromise on a fee.
Yeah, I think so. I think I kind of get from the Newcastle perspective about perhaps they're more cautious of, Dan Ashworth, what's he going to reveal kind of thing. But realistically, it's just a moving job. I don't think in hindsight it's a huge, huge deal. Obviously for us, I think it is a big deal. We've got a new sporting director coming in. But yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I did kind of find it funny if over here in the States, Donald Trump's on trial for paying off a porn star during the last election, the election before last, and trying to hide it. And so it's a really complicated kind of legal case. But one of the things that came out is he doesn't have an email address because he doesn't like to leave a paper trail. I did kind of think of that when I was thinking, don't leave a paper trail. What's wrong with a phone call? Or, I don't know, meeting at the services on the M6 or something.
Exactly. It should have been more smart.
Yeah, you really should have. You're going to... Yeah, if United are going to induce someone to break their contract, I think I don't know whether Ollie _was right on Twitter.
Yeah,
he's a lawyer, a United fan and a lawyer, and I think he called it tortious interference, tort being contract law. But I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly whether United have a problem here or not, or whether Ashworth does, or both, or. it's definitely not a Premier League FA thing. I don't think tapping up counts for executives. I think it's only players.
Yeah,
and in any case, like, I think, has anyone ever been punished for tapping up apart from Chelsea, Ashley Cole, Arsenal, that whole thing?
Yeah, that's the thing. No, I don't know in terms of like the legal stuff, but I mean, will he come to Manchester United? Like, is it definitely going to happen now? I think so, but also, I mean, it's just created. It's not a great start for him, is it? Created a bit of a stir.
No, it's not. Especially if it costs United a few extra
exactly.
million.
It's just what we need.
It seems like Sir Jim is not like, he's quite old school, isn't he? You know, he's been cutting budgets and like cutting travel expenses, and probably he's going to impact people's jobs and stuff like that. So yeah, a few extra million of wasted money. If that's what it ends up being, it's not going to be cool, really. But maybe it'll just get everyone around the table and go, okay, like, we got to fix this, and just pay the 2 million extra or whatever it is that Newcastle want in order to make this happen. Sooner rather than later will be good, because like, we don't have Barada in, and we don't have Ashworth in, and we have Wilcox in, but he's going to be, it looks like his job's going to be a pathway job from youth team to first team, typical technical director role, and he's the only one who's currently in situ, like during a really crucial summer.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. This summer's it's going to be a big summer, and there's a lot of work to be done in all areas at Manchester United. You know, not even just the players on the pitch and the manager. There's all the background staff as well, like the technical director and the sporting director. You know, we've got new ownership as well. There's a lot to be figured out this summer. Like you said, if we can just, you know, pay the 2 million, whatever it is, and get on with it, I think that's what needs to be done for this. Definitely.
Yeah. I wonder with Newcastle as well, whether taking such a hard line is impacting their ability to hire the next person into that job. Because it seems like Dougie Friedman at Crystal Palace turned that job down. Right. And he's signing a new deal. And I'm sure he would have got a lot more money at Newcastle, right? They're going to chuck money at everything. But he seems to have turned that job down. And I wonder if it's just not a good look that they would rather put an executive on 18 months of gardening leave than allow them to move on to another job. And if I was Friedman or whoever going into that role, I might be like, oh, like I'm signing this 4-year contract. I have to commit to that. There's no way out. And they're going to behave like total dicks if I do want to move.
Yeah. I know, that's the thing. Like you said, Newcastle, like, they'll just pay the money, won't they? They're a very rich club. I mean, I'd say they can get who they want, but maybe they can't. I mean, like you said about the Crystal Palace, I can't think what his name is now.
Dougie Friedman.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, you know, it's just Newcastle's money club really at the minute, I think. Well, it's getting there. But no, I think, I don't know who they'll bring in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe the way they're behaving won't help their cause.
Exactly.
It's kind of interesting that how fast Ineos have moved on all of this stuff. But this one has been kind of delayed a little bit. It's like they didn't expect Newcastle to behave like this. And they, because like generally clubs, especially for executives, they're just like it's not quite the same as player trading, is it? I mean, City didn't try and get a fee out of us for Omar Barada.
No, it's definitely, I do think, like I said, there's going to be a lot of changes around this new ownership. And yeah, maybe, do you know what? If it might be a good thing. It probably is a good thing. You know, if it's come out now, I mean, they've probably known for a while, but it's come out now, and let's just get it sorted. And I think they will get it sorted soon, hopefully.
Yeah. And there was a piece by Andy Mitten in The Athletic today, talking about just how many executives from Manchester City are applying for jobs at United.
Oh, really?
Which I can't find funny. You know, it's still the biggest club in the world, right?
Yeah.
City, for all their state wealth, are still small time. And Newcastle, even smaller time, because they haven't actually won anything. And the rest of the Premier League ganged up on them to strengthen the rules.
Exactly.
Which is good.
Mm.
So,
yeah. No.
Yeah. So there's a lot on there's going to be a lot on Ashworth's plate. I mean, I don't know how many deals do you reckon United can try and do this summer? It's going to be a lot. I mean, we're losing Martial and Varane for sure.
Yeah,
I imagine they'll be trying to ship off Casemiro just because of his wage costs.
I think so.
They have they have to make a decision around Bruno, not sign a new contract. Talk about him. They have to make a decision about Marcus Rashford, who I imagine will stay. Yeah. And they'll try and the new coach will. Let's assume there's a new coach. We'll have to come in and try and get a tune out of him. So yeah, and what, probably 5 or 6 incoming deals. It's a lot.
Yeah, I was looking at like kind of Dan Ashworth's run at Newcastle, and he has brought in some good players. One of the things that I picked up on, that he kind of brings in players who aren't really, really expensive. It's around the 40, 50 million mark. Obviously, there is, either side. But all them players that he's brought in are pretty good, which is something that we need at Manchester United, I think, because like, I think we spoke about this in the previous video, but if we are going into the summer with not a lot of money to spend, we've got to invest wisely. So I think Dan Ashworth is going to be good in terms of helping us find these cheaper, I say, younger, kind of very talented players. And that's what we need. So I think he is going to be crucial during this summer, definitely.
Yeah, if he's around.
Yeah.
Or if he just happens to accidentally drop his laptop at Carrington or something like that. It'd be terrible, wouldn't it? Leaves it at that service station where he definitely isn't having a meeting with Omar Barada. Incredibly busy summer coming up. And obviously there's we'll find out in a couple of days' time whether United have Europa League football or no European football. And that's going to make a big difference about size of squad we need, how much money we have to spend.
Exactly. Sponsorship
issues. I mean, there's already going to be a cut in the Adidas deal because of the lack of Champions League football. And so, it's a tough environment for United. Kieran Maguire, I don't know, Price of Football guy, put out a chart yesterday that showed United owe £277 million in outstanding transfer fees, and 75% of that is due in the next 2 years. So that's a lot of money.
Just a little bit.
It's I might get out of bed for 277 million. It's a lot of money.
We've got to use the money wisely in the next season, definitely.
Yeah. And it's what they did at Nice as well. They brought in younger players, a much younger coach. A very young sporting director who's now gone to Roma, and a lot of younger players. And I guess with United, you kind of expect us to be shopping at the top end of the market, but that's not going to be the case for another couple of years, I don't think, not without Champions League football.
No. I don't hate that. Of course, I want some good, well-known players who are very talented, but I definitely think, I think since seeing some of the younger players come up, like Kobe Mainoo and Garnacho and Ahmad, I think it's definitely kind of making me think, let's bring in some younger players and just give them a go. Obviously, that is a bit risky. You do have to have a mix in the team, I think. Some, experienced players. But I definitely think we do need to look at these kind of players who are 20 to 30 million and just bring in a load. I think that's the best way forward. If we're not able to spend that, big sum of money in the summer, I think that's the way forward.
Younger players who really want to play for the club as well. It always seems a bit reductive to talk about like passion and playing for the shirt and stuff like that. But the and the crowd's more forgiving as well. Kobe Mainoo's been developing, Højlund's been developing, I think, and Garnacho's played lots of football this year. The Old Trafford crowd really gets behind those younger players. They give them a lot of forgiveness. They can make more mistakes than the senior players and not have the crowd on their back. Bit different in social media, but the Old Trafford is a forgiving place.
Yeah.
For younger players, and I expect, and then I think it will work into like who they appoint as the next coach. I mean, Damasio, the Italian journalist who's normally pretty on point with stuff like this, said the decision's already been made. Ten Hag is leaving, so I think he's pretty respected.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't find out on Monday that Eric's leaving. I mean, who knows in football, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's now the case. And so that'll fit if we're going for this younger strategy, and Ashworth's leading that, and mid-market, which he seems to have had a very good track record of. A coach who works with younger players might be quite sensible as well.
Definitely, you've got to make it all work together. These sporting directors, technical directors, it's all got to flow, and I don't think that's not really been happening recently in Manchester United. So definitely, that's something that I think Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe need to think about. Definitely, but it'll be interesting to see whether Ten Hag does go after Saturday. I mean, if we do win, what's do we?
But what's the difference?
I know.
If we win 2-1 or lose 2-1, what's the difference, really?
No, I know. But it'd be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if he did stay.
We'll see.
I don't know, we'll see.
Omar Barada starts on the 13th of July, I think it is. That's right at the end of the Euros, isn't it? Or right at the beginning? Right at the end? Right at the beginning? Well, whenever. When the Euros. Round the Euros. Anyway, he's going to start then. Maybe the Ashworth deal gets done. So the exec team's there. Dave Brailsford will step back. He's been very, very hands-on. Jean-Claude Blanc will go back to Ineos. Perhaps Ratcliffe will step back a little bit, and they'll have their full team in, all their execs. I guess they've still got to appoint a CFO. They're still appointing from internally, but basically it's their entire team will be in place. Execute on the summer deals. We'll know how much money we've got to spend, and just a massive summer. It
is going to be a huge summer. I think the best thing is to just get these people in as soon as possible. So we've got the time to think about which players we want to bring in, and that's what needs to be done. And who's going to go as well? Like you said, Casemiro probably
quite a few.
Varane, Martial are confirmed. There's going to be a big change in Manchester United.
All right, seems like a good point to stop. Dan, if you're listening, I'm not sure if he listens to the pod or watches because this one's on YouTube. Don't send stupid emails. Learn your lesson. It's just so dumb. So dumb. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. If you hit the subscribe button, you'll get notifications. And Isabel, tell us about your channel.
It's called Talk About United.
And you do indeed talk about United.
I do.
Everyone, go check it out. Thanks, everyone. See you again tomorrow.